Hi, I'm Rabbi Barry. My program is titled, Can't We All Get Along? I have over 23 years experience in the wedding business. First as a photographer for 20 years, and now as a rabbi. I officiate at interfaith, Jewish, and non-denominational weddings. In all my years in the wedding business, I've noticed an increasing tension building between wedding vendors and clergy. Every vendor thinks they're the most important in the couple's day, including us, the clergy. I want to share some of my experiences and how I, as a photographer and a rabbi, have diffused situations and played well with the other vendors. After all, aren't we all here to make the couple's day the best wedding ever? What I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into 3 different sections. The first is how wedding vendors should get along together, how we can and should get along together. The second is how clergy think. How do we think? Why is there this tension? How do we think? And third, I want to talk about pricing. Now you might be thinking, pricing? What's that got to do with wedding vendors getting along together? Wait till we get there, you'll see. Okay, first things first. I want to show you a video. Now this video is of a photographer team. It's 2 photographers, and there's a videographer there also. They're in a church and they're doing a wedding ceremony. Now I want you to count as you're watching this, after you stop cringing. I want you to watch and I want you to count how many things are on your nerves. What are they doing wrong? What's happening? Why is it so annoying? And why is it making you feel the way it feels? Okay, here we go.
I give you this ring
as a symbol of my vows to you,
as a symbol of my vows to you,
and with all that I am.
Now that we've endured that, now that we've watched that, yeah, you can stop laughing now. Okay. I want to give you my impression of what we just saw. Okay. First thing, they're using flash inside of a church. What's wrong with this? Okay. Two things. First, it's a church. Whether you're in a church, a synagogue, any place of worship, this is a holy building. This is a place of worship. This is not a photo studio. Yeah, you heard me, guys. This is not a photography studio. Okay? It's not a photo shoot. It's a house of worship. There's rules to be obeyed. That's why whenever you walk into mostly a church, the bigger the church, the worse it is. As soon as you walk in there with your equipment, what happens? You get bombarded. You get snagged by the what? The dreaded church lady. Yeah, that wedding coordinator. Yeah, them. The wedding planners have to go through it. The videographers have to go through it. The florist has to go through it. And especially the photographers. Why do they attack you? Well, I have a couple theories on that. One, yeah, I agree, they're power hungry. Bunch of little old ladies who, quite honestly, don't have anything better to do. I understand that. But the majority of the time, it's because somebody before you messed it up for everybody. I was at a Catholic church in my market here in Birmingham, Alabama. Big Catholic church. Nice priests, wonderful wedding coordinators. Church ladies loved me. I've been working there for years when I was a photographer. Well, I go to set up my stuff, and like I always do, I set up in the back and I put my tripod and the whole bit. They converge on me, two at a time. What are you doing? We have rules. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da. Okay, I understand. Do you remember who I am? I calm them down. I talk to them for a little bit. I do the schmooze. You know, how important they are. I understand. And then one time, one of the wedding coordinators, we had plenty of time before the ceremony. She actually sat down with me and she explained why they have what we consider all those stupid rules as a photographer and videographer. Well, it seems that a photographer who was a photojournalist, yeah, that magic photojournalist title, he actually, during the middle of the Mass, a full Mass by the way, he actually went slithering down the center aisle like a snake, like nobody was going to notice him, right? Oh, by the way, he was dressed in Levi's, yeah, blue jeans, a t-shirt, and a photographer vest. Really? You're in a Catholic church, you're at a wedding, and it's a full Mass. Really, dude? Okay. So this is why they have those, what we used to consider as a photographer, why they have those stupid rules. Think about it. Do you want to be the guy or gal who messes it up for everybody else so you can get your shot? Really? Okay. I have a couple of things I want to say specifically to the photographers and videographers. Folks, there's something called zoom lenses. Yeah, it's this new invention. It's pretty cool. Zoom lenses. 1.8 is not a style. It's a f-stop. Okay? There's nothing wrong with putting your camera with a zoom lens or a telephoto lens on a sturdy tripod and standing back and getting out of everybody's way, making the church lady happy, making the pastor, the priest, the rabbi, whoever happy, and ultimately your couple. Because everybody gets along, everybody's happy, everybody gets pictures, nobody has to fight, none of that, okay? There's these two things, a tripod and a zoom lens. You don't have to have that fancy schmancy 1.2, 1.4, 1.8 lens, 50 millimeter. You really don't need to use it during the ceremony. When you're in a church or a synagogue, you can back up, use a zoom lens, use a long lens on a tripod. I know, I've heard it for 20 years, I heard it. Oh, that's not my style. Tripods just slow me down. Well, guess what? If you keep that kind of behavior up, I, as Rabbi Barry, I'm not going to let you near my ceremony. Really, guys? Nobody wants to see your butt. Nobody wants you going up and down the aisle, and they sure don't want to see you on my shoulder during the ceremony. That's really not appropriate. Okay? Now, let's bring up flash. Why do you need flash during a ceremony? I know. Because the church is dark. Again, if you put your camera on a tripod, use a fast lens, take your ISO and go up. Today's professional cameras, the garbage professional cameras, go to 16,000 or something like that. Really? You really can't figure this out? It takes you a little bit longer. Yeah, it might be an imposition on your part, but really, why are you there? Are you there to take the best pictures in the world? Of course you are. Are you there to make your couple the happiest you can make them? Of course you are. Now, if you stand in front of mom during the ceremony, are you making your couple happy? Really? Are you making your couple happy? Okay, that's enough of that. What else was wrong with that photography team in the video? The way they dressed. You know, it's really not that hard to put on a decent outfit. Yeah, I know we're working and we're sweating and we're artists. I know that. Been there, done that, argued with my wife for years as a photographer. How could I be expected to get all dressed up? And I still stand by that. But for years, what I wore is black dress pants, either a black polo shirt or a black dress shirt. This is my style as a photographer. I wanted to blend into the background. I didn't want anybody to know I was alive. So I just blended in. I wanted to be as vanilla as possible. Okay? But yet, black is always dressy. Okay? Yeah, I know sometimes it could be uncomfortable, but you know, you're earning a living here. Sometimes you just have to get over it. Okay? Wearing t-shirts, wearing sneakers, wearing jeans, really inside of a church, even an outside ceremony, while you're standing next to all those people in the wedding party wearing tuxedos and bridesmaid dresses. Gals, have you ever worn a bridesmaid's dress that was comfortable? I don't think they make it in a comfortable style. So why is the photographer or the video guy or gal standing there wearing their chucks because it's comfortable? Folks, they're not there for us. We're there for them. Okay? That's enough on that video. So, now the second video I want to look at, I want you to check out. It's a whole 43 seconds. And this is the one that actually inspired this presentation today. The minister going ballistic, the minister losing his cookies on the photographer and videographer in an outside ceremony in New York. Here we go.
Lawfully, and in accordance with God's will, you do now confess it. We're still good, huh? Please, sirs, leave. Please.
Where do we meet?
Anywhere other than here.
Okay.
This is a solemn assembly, not a photography session. Please move, or I will stop.
You want me to leave?
I will stop the ceremony if you do not get out of the way.
You want me to leave? I leave. In all fairness.
This is not about the photography. This is about God.
Even I think this video is funny. Even though it annoys me and makes my blood boil. Okay? How dare he ruin the ceremony by going off on those people? Well, actually, I can understand it. Do I accept it? Do I think he was right? No, I don't. But what brought him to there? Now, by just looking at this, you're going to go, well, maybe the camera was too loud. You know, you heard the motor drive going like crazy. You need a motor drive in a wedding? Really, guys? You can't go single frame? You need a motor drive? No. You can go single frame. But I don't think that's what bugged him. They were literally on the platform with the couple and the minister. Okay? Again, remember, long lens, zoom lens, step away from the couple. You'll get a great shot. You'll blur the people in the background. You'll be an artist. You'll get your wonderful shot. Okay? You don't have to be on top of the clergy. You don't have to be on top of everybody. Okay? Just use a long lens, maybe a tripod, back away. Okay? Now, when I'm doing a ceremony, when Rabbi Barry's doing a ceremony, I make it very clear, very nicely, by the way, I make it very clear that you stay out of my chuppah. Chuppah is what we use in a wedding ceremony, a Jewish wedding ceremony, or the platform where we're doing the ceremony if we're doing an interfaith or a non-denominational. Stay away from the wedding party. You use a zoom lens. Of course, I want you to stay away from the middle aisle. But you can go from the side, you can go from the back, you can go from the corners, whatever floats your boat. But use a long lens. If the audience can see you, there's no reason for the audience to see you. Okay? Remember, the audience isn't there to see you work your magic. They're there to see the couple get married. Now, having said that, the minister, in my opinion, was totally out of line for going off on the photographer and videographer during the ceremony. But I've heard many people say, oh, well, he should have talked to him afterwards. No. Yeah, I know, I see that look. What do you mean? Afterwards is too late. Because the damage has already been done. Okay? They were already right up there. They were already next to him. Let me use a personal story. Okay? I'm doing a wedding. Yes, we were outside. I'm doing a wedding and I feel something. It just doesn't feel right. I look to my right and less than 3 feet away from me is a guy with a camera. Really? What do you need to be there for? If I can feel you, you know the audience can see you. Okay? But no, I didn't go off on the guy. No, I didn't get mad or whatever. I just politely turned to him and mouthed, please back up. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody cared. Okay? He backed up. We were fine. He put another lens on. Nobody, the couple's in the zone, hopefully, so they don't know what's going on anyway. And that's a good thing. Okay? But that's this minister. He went off and he stopped the ceremony, went ballistic, and made a fool out of himself and everybody else. So, how do we keep that from happening? It's very, very simple. As wedding vendors, we need to all talk to each other. So the photographer, and by the way, I have met the photographer. Well, I didn't meet him. I talked to him via Skype, and I emailed with him. He's up in New York, right outside the city, and he's actually a very nice guy. Very talented, by the way. And I asked him flat out, I said, what happened? What caused this? Did you not talk to the guy beforehand? He says he did, but all the minister said was stay out of the aisle and literally stay out of my way. Well, that's not a lot of information from the minister. I understand that, okay? Now, when I asked him later in the same conversation, he backed off from that and he said, well, he said something else, but I don't quite remember. So, I don't think the photographer and videographer was completely blameless here, okay? Yes, the minister was mean, but I don't think he was completely blameless, okay? So how do we stop that from happening? Well, here's how I do it. As Barry the photographer for 20 years, first thing I did when I walked into anywhere, wherever the ceremony was, whether it was a synagogue, whether it was a church, whether it was open air, whether it was a restaurant, wherever, okay? While my assistant is setting up my stuff and getting everything ready, first thing I did is I made a beeline to where the clergy was. Not the wedding, not the wedding coordinators, not the church ladies. I made a beeline to the clergy, okay? I said, hi, my name is Barry, I'm blah, 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 I'm going to be your photographer, I'm going to be your videographer, we're going to have a great, blah, 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 life is wonderful, did the schmooze, and I said, what are your rules? What don't you want me to do? Is there any place you don't want me? And invariably, the guy or gal says, stay off of the pulpit, stay away from the ceremony, and don't make a nuisance of yourself. That is the majority of what I always heard. Now, if you're in a Catholic cathedral or a Catholic church, you're in the back. If you're in a synagogue, you're in the back. If you're in most Protestant churches, you're in the back, either at the end of the aisle or you're up in the choir loft. Get over it. That's where you are. Okay? Now, most of the time, clergy were a little easier on where you can go when it's open air and when it's a restaurant. Because you're not in a holy site, you're not in a church, you're not in a place of worship. But it's still a very important ceremony, and if you're using a vested clergy, an ordained minister or rabbi or priest, we have rules to live by. Well, we'll get into that in the next section. Okay, so I'd always ask, we were happy, I didn't go beyond my boundaries, life is wonderful. Okay, that's how I handled it. Did it always work? No, I always had some bad, But as a photographer and video guy, I hardly ever had any friction. Okay? Now, what can you do to keep this happening? Why not do the same thing I did? Okay? Wedding planners. Most of my business is from wedding planners, and there's a reason for that. Okay? Wedding planners will run interference for you. Wedding planners will know the rules. Wedding planners will have you sign stuff if you need to sign it. Wedding planners know the rules of the road. They're there for only one reason, to make their couple happy campers. That's all they're there for. That is their job. Make sure the couple gets married and the day goes as smooth as possibly. And their couple is just happy campers. That's their job. So, just approach the wedding planner and say, hey, do I have rules? If the answer is, I don't know, and then you're going to get, I don't know, right, wedding planners? Yeah, of course. So what do? You make a beeline, okay, while your assistant is doing their thing, you make a beeline to the clergy, and I ask them to do it and I very nicely say, here's my rules. Stay out of the chuppah, stay off the pulpit, stay out of the general area where the marriage is going to happen. Okay? That's what, now, if somebody doesn't approach me, this is Rabbi Barry, this is Rabbi Barry the clergy now, okay? I will make a point of it, and I know a lot of us don't do this, and I understand that. A lot of us don't even want to be bothered, or we're busy, let's face it, okay? I will walk up to the wedding planner and I will say, hey, do the photographers and video folks know what the rules are? Do they know how I like it? And if the answer is from the wedding planner, I don't think so, or no, they didn't talk to me about it, I make a point of going to them, okay? Stick out my hand, introduce, Hello, I'm Rabbi Barry. We are all going to have a great time today. I only have one request of you. Stay out of my chuppah, stay away from the pulpit. Everybody will get along and we'll all be happy campers. Okay? It's not that tough. Okay? All you have to do is make the time or make the effort to be warm and fuzzy. It's really not that hard. Okay? So that's the second case. Now this third video I want to show you is an actual case in point of one of my ceremonies, and I want you to see where the photographer is during this ceremony. Okay? So let's watch. Michael and Ashley, please face me, which you are. Baruchim habayim b'shem Adonai. Blessed are you who have come here in the name of God. We rejoice that Michael and Ashley join in marriage in the presence of God and loved ones. God, please grant your blessings to the bride and groom. In this union, the sacred work of creation goes on. God joining man and woman. God planting the divine likeness within them. Man and woman were created in the divine image. Male and female, God created them. May the union of Michael and Ashley animate the divine in each of them, and may each help the other to grow in God's likeness. Now, Michael and Ashley would like to thank everyone for coming to this wonderful occasion today. It's so important to Michael and Ashley that you all are here today. You came from Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Missouri, Connecticut, Ohio, New Hampshire, Montgomery, downtown Wetumpka, Auburn, Sylacauga, and last but not least, beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. Love is like magic and always will be. For love still remains life's sweet mystery. Love works in ways that are wondrous and strange. For there's nothing in life that love cannot change. Love is unselfish, understanding, and kind, for it sees with its heart and not with its mind. Love can transform a most commonplace into beauty and splendor, and in sweetness of grace. Love is the answer that everyone seeks. Love is the language that every heart speaks. Love cannot be bought. It is priceless and free. Love is like magic. It's life's sweet mystery. This week in the book of Shemot, we witness the birth of Moses. Through Moses, God will show us how to build a community and become one people with laws that guide us. How fitting is it that Michael the engineer and Ashley the attorney join in marriage today. This Kiddush cup I'm holding is Poppy's, Ashley's grandfather. It's lovely when we bring something of the family in. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Please take a sip. Thank you. As you have shared the wine from a single cup, you come here as two and leave as one. Michael and Ashley, please face each other. There you go. No, don't look at me, look at him. He's a lot prettier than I am. And now I ask you, in the presence of God in this assembly, do you, Michael, take Ashley to be your wife, to love, to honor, and to cherish?
I do.
And do you, Ashley, take Michael to be your husband, to love, to honor, and to cherish?
I do.
Who has the rings? Thank you. The ring is a token of your union, a symbol of enduring loyalty. May they remind you that your lives are bound together by your devotion and love to each other. Michael, please place the ring on Ashley's finger. Repeat after me. Ani
Ani
Ledodi,
Ladodi,
Vidodi,
Vedodi,
Li.
Li.
I am my beloved,
I am my beloved,
and my beloved is mine.
and my beloved is mine.
Ashley, please place the finger on Michael's finger. Please repeat after me. Ani,
Ani,
Ledodi,
Ledodi,
Vidodi,
Vedodi,
Li.
Li.
I am my beloved,
I am my beloved,
and my beloved is
and my
mine.
beloved is mine.
Now it's time for the Sheva Brachot. That means 7 blessings. Why do we do 7 blessings? How many days of creation were there? That's why we do the 7 blessings. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of all things for your glory. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the man and woman. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates us to share with you in life's everlasting renewal. We praise you, Adonai, our God, who causes Zion to rejoice in her children's happy return. We praise you, Adonai, our God, who causes bride and groom to rejoice. May these loving companions rejoice as have your creatures since the days of creation. We praise you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, creator of joy and gladness, bride and groom, love and kinship, peace and friendship. O God, may there always be heard in the cities of Israel and the streets of Jerusalem the sounds of joy and of happiness, the voice of the groom and the voice of the bride, the shouts of young people celebrating and the songs of children at play. We praise you, O God, who causes the bride and groom to rejoice together. Michael. Thank you. As you have shared the wine from a single cup, so may you, under God's guidance, share contentment, peace, and fulfillment from the cup of life. May you find life's joys heightened, its bitterness sweetened, and each of its moments hallowed by true companionship and love. In the presence of these witnesses and in the keeping with the laws of the state of Alabama, you have spoken the words and performed the rites that unite your lives. Michael and Ashley, you're now husband and wife. Please face me and bow your heads for a benediction. May God bless you and keep you. May God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's presence be with you and give you peace. Now we're going to break the glass. This is a very old Jewish tradition. Michael is going to step on the glass and break it. What does this mean, you ask? I'm glad you asked that. Breaking of the glass symbolizes that gone is your 2 separate lives. You are now ready to begin your new life together. There you go. Remember, take a step back. Whenever you're ready. Mazel tov!
Can we kiss? No?
That's wonderful. Turn. Go ahead and kiss. Turn to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you for the very first time, Mr. and Mrs. Porter. Was there one shot in that video where the photographer wasn't there? Come on, guys, really? Does the couple really want to see the photographer in their video of their ceremony? Couldn't he have backed up? And if you'll notice the wide shot, You see the corner right there? Yeah. That's where I told him he could be. Yeah, there's a big difference between there and where he was. Did you notice? Did I turn around? Nope. Did I yell at him? Nope. Did I stop the ceremony? Nope. But really, but I did talk to him afterwards. And I did say very harshly and very sternly, I might add, if you do that again, word's going to spread and you're not going to get work because clergy's not going to want to work with you. Okay, so really what good did it do? You saw the video. The couple still got that guy holding up the camera. Really? You couldn't put another lens on it? You couldn't stand where I told you to stand? It isn't really that tough. Okay? So those are the examples I want to show you. Okay, so that's the first. Bullet point 1. Now 2 is clergy. Why we do what we do. Now what's the difference between us and a wedding officiant? Okay, that's a very good question. Now my primary market is the Deep South. I work mostly in Alabama, Atlanta, Tennessee, Louisiana, Savannah, Charleston. I travel all over the place. But most of my weddings are south. But I do go, and I've been going a lot lately, to Los Angeles, Long Beach, Los Angeles area. And actually, I need to give a shout out to Alan Katz with Great Officiants because I've been doing my weddings with him. A lot of non-denominationals, a lot of same-sex weddings. Okay, which, by the way, if you've never done a same-sex wedding, it's a wonderful thing to witness and especially to be part of. But when I work for Alan with Great Officiants, he has a different philosophy than ordained clergy. I understand this. Okay, they're not ordained. They're normally non-denominational or secular. Okay, they're not there. They're not confined by any church doctrine, any rules. In Judaism we call it halakha, Jewish law. They're not confined by any of those rules. They don't have any of that to bring into the ceremonies. And that's why their couples hire them. Okay? But my couples want an ordained clergy person. In my case, a rabbi. Okay? They want me for a reason. Okay? That title is there for a reason. They want to get married in a Jewish ceremony or an interfaith ceremony, which normally is very Jewish. Okay. They want to get married in a religious environment. It doesn't matter if you're in a church, a synagogue, whatever, or if you're in a restaurant lobby, or if you're in a ballroom or a banquet hall. It doesn't matter. I've heard a lot, especially from the minister going off on that couple, a lot of the reaction from that video is, well, how dare he? It's not a church. It doesn't matter. When you make a platform, when you make a 10-foot area where the bridal party, the bride and groom are in front of an ordained minister, priest, or rabbi, it has become a holy place. That's what we do. We do religious ceremonies. Thus, we have our rules. Yes, we have rules that we need to abide by. And since the couple picked an ordained clergy person, they either agree and or want that. That's why they hired us. So, you're there as a photographer, you're there as a caterer, you're there as a videographer, you're there as whatever. You were hired for what reason? Because of what you do, the quality, and it's what the couple wants. And probably there's a budget consideration, which we'll get into later. Okay? So why is it different than when you have an ordained clergy person? A minister, a rabbi, or a priest. What's the difference? It's their day. Yes, I agree. It's their day. It's their wedding. I believe that the wedding should be entirely focused around the couple. Yes, in the context of Judaism in my case. That's why they used me. That's why they want a rabbi. If you'll notice that last video that I showed you with the photographer over my shoulder, that was a Jewish ceremony. Okay? That's what they wanted. There's certain parts to a Jewish ceremony. There's certain things we have to do. That's why they hired me. That's what they want. Yes, that's what they're going to get. No, it's not my ceremony. It's the couple ceremony. Yeah, I understand that. But, here's the big but. But, you have to remember they want it in the context of whatever religion the clergy is. So, that's the difference between using ordained clergy and one of the wedding officiants. A lot of the wedding officiants, and please, this is not a disrespect to any of you, okay, will do whatever the couple wants. Will do secular, will say whatever they want, will say it in a religious context, whatever they want. We don't have that privilege. We're ordained. We have rules. We have reasons we do these things. Okay? Does that make sense? Good. We'll get to questions and answers later. Okay. Third and last point. Pricing. I fought this battle as a photographer, and I'm fighting this battle as Rabbi Barry as clergy. Why is everybody in such a big race to the bottom? I don't get it. I don't understand it. I didn't understand it 20 years as a photographer. People used to go, well, you only work 20 weddings a year. Yeah, but I made a lot of money on each of those weddings when I was a photographer. That's what I needed to earn my living. I took, and yes, I was professionally trained. I was studied under some of the greatest masters in the wedding photography world. I belong to Professional Photographers of America. I belong to Wedding WPPI, Wedding and Portrait Photographers International. We learned how to do business and how to take pictures. It's very simple. And why should it be different as Rabbi Barry, the officiant? Why should it be different as you, the florist, you, the video person, you, the wedding planner? It's really not, we're not talking, a genius here, okay? It's not that hard to figure out. What do I want to make? No, as much as possible is not a correct answer, okay? What do I want to make? I want to make $50,000 a year. Okay, cool. Now you have to figure out how hard you want to work, what it's going to take to make that $50,000 a year. Now, is that what you want to make? Or is that with expenses and everything else? After your business license and paying your taxes and getting your permits and all that insurance and all that stuff. Yeah, I see a bunch of you going, oh, we need that. Yeah, you need that. Okay. You're in business and you need that. You have to include that. Okay. So, here's where I'm going. A lot of the people think that ordained clergy, how dare you charge money to marry people? Really? It's okay for everybody else in the wedding world to charge, but it's not okay for the clergy to charge? I don't understand it. Why is everybody in a race to the bottom? Okay? I talk to people all the time who have to work especially photographers. Remember, this is where I come from, photography and video, and now clergy, okay? I talk to photographers who have to do 2 weddings a weekend, 40 to 50 weekends a year, and they don't have any money to show for it. Well, why? Because they don't make any money. They don't charge any money, okay? They charge too little and they give too much, okay? There's 2 reasons we do weddings, right? We all do weddings. No matter what we do, we always have two things in common. One, we're there to make the couple's day the best it can be so they have the best marriage they can have. Right? Right. And what's the second reason? To earn a living. If you can't earn a living, why are you bothering? Because I know as a photographer that would be a very expensive hobby. And as a videographer, it would be a very expensive hobby. As a florist, oh my, it would be a very expensive hobby. Okay? I can't think of anything we do in the wedding world that actually makes sense to do as a hobby. We have to make a living out of it. So, the more you, and just because you charge more doesn't mean you're great. I understand that, I really do. But I have noticed, and remember, I've got 23 years invested in this industry, okay? The people who know the most, who are most comfortable with their craft or what they do, who are making a living and are the happiest, are charging more. That's wedding planners, that's florists, that's photographers, and yes, that's wedding clergy. Okay? Because again, let me give a shout out to my friend Alan over there with Great Officiants. He has this formula and he has this figured out what his market will pay, what he needs to pay as officiants. Everybody walks away happy. The officiants walk away with money, his company walks away with money, the couples are married, everybody's happy. He's figured it out. Great. I know there's a lot of photographers that I've met over the last couple of days here. They are perfectly happy. They do 20, they do 30 weddings a year because they charge enough. They charge for their time, they charge for their education, they know what they're doing, they're making money, they're happy. So, thus, when you're a wedding clergy, we need to make money also. Okay? Now, if you go to a church, use that as an example, I hear this all the time. Well, when we go to a church, the minister's included. That's true. We didn't have to pay the minister. Well, actually, you did. Okay? If you belong to that church, if you belong to that synagogue, you paid dues. You tithed. You paid money. Where do you think that money goes for? It's not just to turn the lights on. It's not just to pay the custodians. The minister, the rabbi, well, the priest doesn't really get paid a salary, but they do get a stipend. The clergy gets paid, and somebody has to pay them. Okay? So yes, it really is included, and yes, your couples really are paying their clergy, whether it's directly or by being a member of a church, a mosque, a synagogue, whatever. Okay? I myself, I'm making my living as a wedding rabbi. Don't have a pulpit right now, and this is how I'm making my living. I know what I want to make, I know what I need to make, and I know how I need to get there. That's why the majority of my business, actually 99.9% of my business, is gotten through wedding planners. Why? Because the wedding planners I work with, one, respect what I do, two, we respect each other, and three, they respect themselves as much as I respect myself. They want to get paid. They work hard. Wedding planners, yeah, you get yeah, I see that smile over there. You work hard. You deserve to get paid well. Okay? So, people are so busy running to the bottom because they think if they work so hard, they'll be so popular, but they're not making any money. I don't get it. You deserve better. Your couples deserve better. And the wedding industry deserves better. Okay? Now, let's do some question and answers.